Ready when you are, ready when you are. Okay,
What?
you're on bra watch. So if you see my little booby bra come through, shout out to Honey Love,
We
making
need
the bars
we
for the
need
people.
viewers. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't saying shit.
Hello?
Welcome to the Chit Chat Podcast. We're picking up where the group chat left off.
Where the tea, the truth, and the timeline collide.
I'm Ray.
And I'm Kia.
So pull up.
Because when the homies link up,
It's laughter,
life updates,
and a little light therapy too. Let's chat.
Welcome to the Chit Chat Podcast. We give a mic and a seat to all the things that we ladies talk about. I'm your girl, Ray.
And I'm Kia.
And today's episode, ladies, is all about the darn baggage of the strong Black woman trope. Where does it come from? Get a little bit of history behind it because I learned some things. Talk about how we feel and how we cope with it. And like, is it real? Is it not real? Is it still going? Is it not still going? But I really want to swing this over to Kia because this topic is something that was nagging at her.
So the strong Black woman trope, I personally, within the last maybe 6 or 7 years, have been annoyed with it. Because going through personal issues and having to carry it, or just having that label placed on me, I think in my younger years, I used to carry that as a badge of honor because you could handle anything, you can take on anything, and you out here ready to rock with it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at some point, you get tired. And I think the strong Black woman trope doesn't allow you to be tired, doesn't allow you to have range of emotions. So I'm like, I can be a strong Black woman who's emotional. I can be a strong Black woman who's sad, a strong Black woman who is tired. And I had a friend that was going through something really dire, and she was being told that she's a strong Black woman. And she was
Like,
tired.
be strong. You can
Yeah.
do it. Be
Yeah.
strong versus like
No, it was,
hearing.
no, you're a strong Black woman. You
Seriously.
can do
Like
this.
straight up verbatim.
Yeah. You know, it's like, you're strong. You can do this. You can do this. And she has kids, and she was going through a dark time where she just didn't feel like she could go on. She was at a breaking point. And I think she just wants to be heard. And she don't want to hear that she's a strong Black woman because
I
she
feel like
feel it inside.
you said it. It's the allowance of feeling. And like by pushing the narrative or the expectation of a strong Black woman is, hey, girl, limit how you feel.
Yeah.
Quiet how you feel. Push down how you feel. It's weak if you allow yourself to feel these things. And that cannot possibly be what we're telling each other still.
It comes from a long legacy of things, but
Yeah.
before we get into that, you're not gonna believe this shit.
Wait. One of the things I thought we were going to go over first, though, is I thought that one of the, and this is, again, great. I love when things come full circle. And we all know this, right? The Serenity Prayer. I'm going to recite it. It's almost like I see it differently now, taken into. So the Serenity Prayer, right? We all know this one. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I think that I'm going to start leaning on this a little bit more.
This Serenity Prayer, like, kind of really spoke to me because the strong Black woman, you try to control everything, and you can't. And you need to know when you're able to, and then kind of release when you're unable to. You know, that's where I feel like that really speaks to me when it comes to like this strong Black woman stuff. You're not gonna believe this shit.
I always look forward to the ones you bring because they're just always like, what?
So you know The Bachelorette, right?
I've heard
Have
of
you
it
watched it in the past?
in the long ago past.
Oh, the long ago past. Okay, I used to be a big fan of both Bachelorette and The Bachelor. I haven't watched it recently, but I was going to clock in. But this past Sunday, they decided to not air The Bachelorette for the first time in 21 seasons because their Bachelorette, Miss Taylor Frankie Paul from
Mm-hmm.
The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and Mom Talk, um, some things came out.
Hmm.
A video surfaced of her having an altercation with her ex-boyfriend, Dakota. You watch? Do you watch?
Mm-hmm. I got stuff to say. I'm just waiting my turn.
So, or a leaked video came out via TMZ, and it shows her having this altercation. She's throwing chairs, telling him to have seats and whatnot. She is intoxicated,
That is
and
funny though. She was throwing chairs to have several seats. Sorry,
she was, tell- she
not
was
funny.
telling
Not
him
funny.
have all these, to have all the seats. But unfortunately, it looks like her little girl may have been um
Hit.
unintentionally hit with one of the chairs. They're screaming at each other, there's crying. And I think that may have been kind of like the last straw for ABC. Everyone knows that this season with this person would have been very volatile, and probably super interesting. So, with the fame of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, as a producer myself, hashtag jealous of the content because it's so damn good. Um, you know, they were probably piggybacking off of the success of that show
Mm-hmm.
and trying to draw her followers, which is a good tactic to bring your TikTokers over. So yeah, so they are not airing for the first time in 21 seasons.
My turn.
What up? Rethink.
So I do think that wow, you know, this is a big deal because this has never happened before for this show. However, my perspective, and maybe as a marketer or just a human being and a viewer,
Mm-hmm.
ABC knew exactly what this girl was about, this woman. And even in her own show, she has stepped back and said that she's been doing the craziest stuff. She went to therapy. I think she stepped away from the show for a little bit. And I saw the episode 2 seasons ago where this went down. They didn't show obviously his recordings or maybe this element of that about a specific moment, but they knew that she had got arrested, that she was intoxicated. They knew this occurrence happened. It's just not clear to me why Dakota releasing this footage of her, what I understand, accidentally in a rage, not okay rage, hitting her daughter means that she's somehow at fault or didn't bring, like she didn't, I don't think she did anything
Intention.
wrong in this side of that, right? Because I feel like I also read that they're going to try to sue her or maybe they're going to try to like get some money back. And I'm kind of like, well, what did she do wrong?
Other than be herself, which then
Yeah,
was in the first.
exactly.
I was thinking that for the lawyers, they're super sensitive. Like network attorneys are very, very sensitive. I've been through my own situations having to clear my own shows with the shows that I've been on with our S&P. And I feel like ABC
How did
is
they miss this?
I don't think they missed it. I don't think they missed it. I think it came to light, right? And I don't think it's a missed thing. Everyone knew that, like you said, she
So
was arrested on the show, right?
do you think it's the idea, it's the sole idea that the little girl was hit in the aftermath and there's
I,
video of that? Or, because that to me, that's like, I don't see what occurred in this video that is such a big deal to them.
I think it's the child. And I think the possible like child endangerment, ABC is Disney. I feel for them that's a trigger, especially because it is a family type of situation. And I know Hulu is a byproduct of that, but they are under a different arm versus ABC, which is still very Disney tied. But
As
I
a
think
marketer, I
that
think they dropped the
that
ball
was
here.
and I don't disagree. I think that if you were gonna go with the volatility of a character of this nature, you know the unpredictability of it.
Mhm.
Um, but I have a feeling they probably could have been cautious or afraid of backlash from the public. I ain't
I
gonna go
think that
there.
they could have mitigated this. Again, that maybe there's something we're missing. I think
Mm,
this could have been mitigated with a disclaimer at the start and the top and the bottom of each show. They could have had her make a statement again because she has done the work is
mhm. Yeah.
necessary to improve herself and
Mhm.
to and like take things seriously, and have a statement specifically. And there
Mm,
is now so much publicity around this. the
mhm.
the ratings
The
would
rate
have,
through the
and I
roof.
think they will probably be airing the show event sooner rather than later is what I
It
think.
does air it on Hulu. I think a lot of people, you and me included, were probably going to be watching. I haven't
Mhm.
watched The Bachelorette since the first black girl, and I don't even know if there was a second black girl, but
Rachel, I think her
yeah,
name was.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel.
I
But yeah, I don't disagree that they dropped the ball because it feels knee jerk, but I could see why because I feel like they felt like they were getting ahead of something that would have been on the negative side for the network. However, the ratings would have still probably climbed because of
Can I
it.
say one last point that I
Sure.
don't think that this is somewhat of slander?
Mm.
But you ain't heard that from me.
Right.
There's a likability of Taylor, even though like I've watched her and like she's a little nuts, but like I love authentic people. So bad or good, she's being herself. That's just my take.
The more vulnerability that you can show, the more
Mhm.
successful your shows will be. This is why they've had 4 seasons back to back. You know how hard it is to have a show to do that? Very.
No, but switching topics. I'm really excited to have this conversation today. Any conversation that might be shared amongst a lot of us is something that I always want us to talk about. So I'm happy we try to bring some definitions and bring some, historical background behind this. And we've pulled some definitions of kind of like what is considered a strong black woman, and what's the opposite of a strong black woman, right? The idea of like the soft life as well. So we're going to go into a little bit of that.
So historically, like who gave, the strong black woman label? It comes from a combination of historical oppression and it originates from the combination of eh, oppression during slavery and the need for survival against racism, sexism, and societal like
What do you
move.
mean? Tell me more. Connect it?
So historically, when the colonizers came, we've had to endure, or our ancestors have had to endure
Hmm.
over years, over time. So you had to have babies in the field, keep working. You are oppressed physically. Black women have to be strong, take it on the chin. You can't really say anything. You can't really do anything. You are holding the weight.
Hmm.
For your race, you have to hold up another race, taking care of their kids, cleaning their houses, picking their cotton, cooking their food, doing all of this and doing it, living through this oppression and still being required to have a good attitude about it.
Historically, one of the things that I thought you brought to the table, which was super interesting, was the legal ramifications at certain times of like there were laws
Right. But
passed.
in South Carolina, it was during World War One, wives of soldiers were given a stipend. This was for anybody in the army. So this is the black wives and the white wives. So black women were given like money, which enabled them to prioritize taking care of their own families versus having to work for other people, which means working in their houses as, nursemaids, housekeepers, maids, cooks, etc. The women in the town had an issue with it.
The white women in the town.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had an issue
Yeah.
with it.
I mean,
And they
that's what
went to
happened.
like their city council and complained that the women were no longer cooking or coming to fix their food or working in their homes. And they looked at that as a threat. Black women resting as a threat. Them taking care of their own families as a threat. So they went and they made up some laws to where Black women had to walk around with papers saying that they were employed so that they wouldn't be, deemed as loitering. That's the long and the short of it. So basically, Black women rest was deemed dangerous, disrespectful. Leisure was not a thing for Black people to be enjoying life. It feels like we always have to be on and working or appearing to be useful to other people, not useful to ourselves.
I thought that for me, I did find it extremely interesting to really lay out that, like literally us taking a moment, relaxing is was deemed like not okay. It's not just us that
That's
perpetuates
right.
that amongst each other. Um, it really is like there's been tons of seasons, and maybe even seasons today, where if we're not doing something for someone else or what they deem okay, it's we're not it's not okay. Um, that
Mhm.
I think from an education point of view, I'm very curious to know about other um instances where from a legal perspective, like again, this is what they do, but from a legal perspective where they try to like legalize every
Well, they
little
want
thing
to
that we're doing.
own your existence, right? Because forget about what you're told. Look at how people are treated. Your existence, I think, as a baseline, is to serve other people in their heads, not in our heads, in their heads. This is why they're always in your business, and they look at you as a dependent. They can't sit down and rest, because then that way you get to think. When you get to think, you get to understand what you're in. If you stay busy enough, you don't have time to think. You don't have time to be like, well, I should be resting. You don't get time to take assessment of your own stuff when you're always in motion.
I think that now, I think what's interesting, like, let's talk a little bit about how we ourselves almost like hold, even without this knowledge. How about that? Even without this
Mhm.
knowledge, even without this history, even without understanding that, and it's not solely due to that, right? It's so much more. Um, how we define ourselves, our value by doing. I'm Haitian American and Haitian, and then my aunts and uncles and everybody's just Haitian. They're not Haitian American at all. And I assumed, again, like growing up, it's very much a patriarchal society or culture. Um, and the idea, I've always grew up with like the idea that like women have to be doing work, you know what I mean? Even to this day,
Mhm.
like again, it's not necessarily looked upon as negatively because I do love spending so much time with the females in my family. But if there's an event, we're setting up, we're taking down. And again, we have some really amazing men in our family, but still, the the bulk, the weight of most of the gatherings, the things, the carrying the family, but even like the cooking, the physical, let rest the mind, the thinking, mental load of like mothers and women is very much with the women.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like we could complain about it, but I also find that we if we're not doing it, we feel less than. We feel
Right.
like we're not doing it enough, right? My cousin's baby shower, for example, my cousin was very much like, I am going to take care of it all. I don't want to bother anybody. Everybody got so much going on. I got this. And can I tell you how a lot of the women, or some of the women closest to her, were somewhat offended by the fact that they weren't asked to do and
Mhm.
that she didn't need their help, and
Mhm.
how and her and I talked about how we do it, because even myself, I was like, girl, you don't need me to do anything. Like
Yeah.
nothing. You got, and and I was kind of like, okay, like feeling some kind of way, not angry at all, but like feeling some kind of way, like, I guess, I guess I'm not doing, I'm not doing anything. And it felt like we do not let ourselves rest or accept rest. And so much so that we take rest or not being needed as an offense. That is something that we have to like talk about. When
But
do
I
we
think
rest, or how do we allow ourselves to rest?
you have to overcome all the obstacles, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
strong despite any problems that are there. And then you sacrifice yourself for others. I think
Mm-hmm.
that part, the sacrificing yourself for others part, is what a lot of Black women do. And that part, I think, might be a good thing if they're able to do it. I think it's coming to when you're not able to do it. I think it is a joy to give up, to give. You want to give, you want to be in service of your family, your girlfriends, sisters, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But in the strong Black woman trope, I feel like the negative parts of it is to be giving and giving and giving and giving
Mm-hmm.
to your own depletion.
We have a lot of data now, quote unquote, not even we have more, I shouldn't say a lot, data about how Black women are dying more at childbirth, or like not be getting the same treatment. What we feel physically is not necessarily taken seriously. And again, I think my understanding about that, but also my feeling, is that it's connected to this idea of Black women almost like having superhuman strength and feeling things. So when they're saying it's a level 10 out of 10 pain, they're like, oh, she really means it's like a 6,
Mhm.
right? Not taking our word for it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they're, like there's a lot of that. And whether it's the idea that we're dramatic or we're super strong and this, that, and the third, like these things are real. There's also this concept across women, not necessarily just Black women, of the load that we carry compared to our male counterparts, which is, I think, across races, across cultures, across categories. And I'm curious, in your perspective, if like what is the bit of the nuance, because I know we talk a bit about that, right? Like there's so much history behind what's happening to us as women, as Black women, and that's who we are, so we talk from that space. But from a woman perspective, do you think that there are commonalities, or where does the split, or kind of like the difference occur?
We mean with Black women and white women?
Not, well, the white women aren't the only women, but just women in general. If there's like bit more on the Black woman from a perspective, or if there's like
I
it's
mean,
the
it's
history of it,
it's
or is it
I
not relatable?
I think there is a colonial way of thinking. People think that they're not that we have moved so far away from certain things. We have not,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your parents still alive. They were alive in the 60s. They went through the
Mm-hmm.
same stuff. My parents were born in the 40s.
Oh.
They went through all of that stuff, like, Jim. Well, and they're from the islands, but it's still in the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not that far away from the disenfranchisement.
Mm-hmm.
We're not that far away. We're not even like we're maybe a generation away.
Not
If you were born
even.
in the 80s, you're the first generation. If you were born in America in the 80s or so, or 70s and 80s, you're the first Black person born with all your freedoms. That's not too long ago. So the mentality that persisted is still here. That's
Mm-hmm.
where you have, it's not that we're different, it's a mentality thing. This is what they think. We feel and we have experiences, I think, like anybody else. But
Exactly.
it's their perception of how we feel and
I think that's
how
you've hit
they
the nail
hold
on
the
the
negative.
head. Yeah.
They hold that, they hold their perception more valid than our actual feeling.
Yeah.
And there's a big thing wrong with that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how it's perpetuated. we perpetuated ourselves because it's also kind of ingrained. My mom, she's a person that's always going, and I think she feels like it gives her a purpose. And that could be just a self thing, a self-motivation thing. She wants to do, she wants to give, she's always working, and it gives her probably a sense of purpose. But Black women, I don't know. I think we had a conversation before about like, I say I don't know her, the Black woman that don't work. I don't know that lady. So all grandmothers worked, mom worked, aunties worked, everybody worked. So we are not afforded leisure. I think like my traveling, I think that's a self-imposed leisure time. And a lot of people don't give themselves that. They're like, I just have to work. My mother, we went on vacations, but they're not big, like prioritizing rest type of people. They're more, we prioritize work because you work hard, you achieve, you get where you want to go. That's the mantra. At the same time, you want to, sometimes I've been working forever. Sometimes you want rest, or
Yep.
you go through things personally. Emotionally, you're stressed. Professionally, you're stressed. Physically, you're stressed. And there's no outlet for it. So what happens to the woman, the Black woman that is going through all of that stuff, right? Sometimes we have all these masks of being a strong Black woman, right? So there's like resilience and strength, right? That's a mask. And then there is, well, there's the mask of there's like in the emotional where you're invulnerable, and then you hide things where you don't talk. And you said this before, established, Naki's not the biggest sharer. So I am a perpetuator of this
You are
myself.
now.
I'm not the biggest sharer. So, and then the next mask is like, you want to be reliant on yourself, right? Where you do everything, you're self-sufficient. I wore all of that as a badge of honor, right? Because I
So
could get it.
I feel like I'm going to answer even my own question on that is how and again, this is all very much learning, and this is why I love these conversations. It's just almost like even to pivot my way of thinking or even think about things in a way that I never even thought about them ever, right?
Right.
One of the things that I feel like I learned from doing the research and like, again, the information that you've shared, for example, is what to me is what I consider somewhat of the difference in America. We're talking America because I can't speak for everyone else, is if you take away what you talked about, the woman who kind of like, and we can, that's even dig deeper, take away the woman who like just her personality is to do, like she's just, that's who she is, right? Let's take away those women, no matter what race. Let's take away those women. They're another point, right? And we take away the woman that the women, and this is a harsh one, is the women that are in a level in life where in order to survive, like this, like the lowest rank, like, and this could be across anyone who is just poverty, and like they have to, like, they're just they don't have the resources, they have to. And then, again, that's part of us as well, but I think that that could also be a, a check within other races and so on and so forth. I'm going to put those women, again, not to the side, but like I'm going to take them out of this equation. Yes, I feel like the more and more I learn, it's almost like those who have the freedoms to be or to make a decision about how much or how strong that they are, it feels very much like Black women proportionally or unequivocally have been almost ingrained, even if they have the choice, that they must, they must, in order to be, I don't know, perceived as whole. Right? Like, you can't, even if you have the money, if you have the resources, it's almost like,
You
like you
work,
can't
so
choose
worth it.
to.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it goes to the self-worth of it.
Yes.
That's where the
Yes.
badge comes in. You
Right.
wear it as a badge of honor because
Yeah.
you're able to do it. And your
Yes.
strength. This is what you bring to whatever
Yeah.
table you're showing up to, a
Yeah.
relationship table, a job table, a
Yeah.
friendship table, right? This is
Yeah.
what you bring.
Yeah. And I know we're not a monolith, right? We say
No.
that and we're not a monolith, but I do think that there's some thoughts that it's ingrained in us. And again, like it's not,
I think it's part
yeah.
of generational.
Yeah.
I don't want to say trauma, but I think it is a part of a
All of it
generational
is
trauma.
trauma. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
is because of what was done and the effects as you push the ball down the hill, as far as
Mhm.
like, like with this is the departure, but like with young boys and the police, and you got to teach your young
Mhm.
boys about the police. It's like that because why? Because what has happened in the past and how you teach forward. So I think
This
this has
is
been
great.
taught forward to us.
Yeah.
Be useful, be strong, always
Mhm.
take it on the chin, keep going. Um, and and it shows up. It has this etymology. It has its different performances in different types of people, right?
Yes. Yes. So this brings me now to how powerful the concept or the movement of the soft life is for Black women, right? And the soft
Let's
life. Oh, wait, wait,
let me
what?
ask you this. But did you
Oh,
know? Did you
what did
know?
I know? I probably didn't. I probably didn't.
I didn't know, but I know we're coming to the end of March, but March 10th was
Hmm.
the official day of rest for Black women. So
I love
as we
it.
move into this, let's talk about how we get this rest
Could
up.
we talk about who started that? Do you know details about it?
So
Like, it
I
had to
know
start somewhere.
it was. So it started around 2020. And
Hmm.
it started within the Nigerian social media
Hmm.
community, right?
Yeah.
Where we have the strong Black women narrative, and they wanted to focus on reclaiming our time.
Was
Right?
that the day? The actual, like, like the day
Not
celebration? Or
not
because I
the
know the soft life movement started in like Nigeria social media life,
Yeah,
but
that's what the
I'm
soft
curious
life.
about the day. Yeah.
I don't know the full day, but I know the soft life movement originated in around
Yeah.
2020.
And this is where I actually was going as well, is like why the movement is such a like FU to the systems and things like that, right? Because it's it's almost viewed, again, I'm going to read it verbatim, as like an act of resistance against the systemic stress and the superhero archetype, right?
Mhm.
Like, because it is, again, so ingrained in our culture and which taught forward, as you said, which I'm going to steal that and start saying it so I sound smart. I think that by
Mhm.
making an effort to reject the idea of strength, right? It's like it's a deliberate move away from the expectation that we can endure and you can do basically so much to us. This
Mhm.
backbone, and it allows us to actualize and allows us to expect you being others, that we have a full self, that we are
Mhm.
more than, that I can feel this and I can do that. It sets up boundaries, which is,
Ba-
again, key word of the year.
ba-
But again, with our mental health, physical health, well-being, it really is a way to really set up boundaries for us to prioritize self-care,
mhm.
self-preservation. Mindset over money, it talks about. Like, there's a lot that, you'll hear about Black women being the most educated, right? They're the most, I think,
Yeah,
homeowner segmentation. But I
yeah.
think that there's been so much
They
to go, 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 go. And
Yes.
again, it's a badge of honor. So shout out to everybody who has their own
Mhm.
home and they don't need all these things. But in order to do that as well, sometimes I don't want to do that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, I don't have to have that to feel good. And like, maybe I want to travel. That's what I want to do with my money. Or maybe, like, there's so many things that, like, I don't know, like, it's like you said, the badges of honor. I want to have other badges. I want to expand. How about that? I want to expand the kind of badges that I want, and not be, my badges have to always be about me. Do, 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 do,
What
do.
about the sacrifices? So
Yeah.
this is what I'll say to that. I don't think it's a bad thing to have it to
Yeah.
want things, but
like I
I
said,
have, and it's
expanding. Yeah.
expanded. There's nothing wrong for people who want that, especially the girlies. The dating out here is kind of trash. So I totally get it. Dating pool got pee in it, all that. Get it. So this is why sometimes they have to like become like the sole owner of their destiny. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think is when the sacrifices become so much to your detriment, right? And I'm going back to like the friend where, they're doing it or we're doing it, but I think you hit a point where the depletion happens. And I think the strong Black woman perpetuates going beyond the depletion line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that point is where you need to be able to refocus because you can still come back to be strong, but I think you need rest, like any human being, right? You need to be replenished. So I don't think at some point the strong Black woman thing didn't allow us to replenish ourselves. It
So
just was to give.
let's talk about types of rest,
Okay. So the types
right?
of yeah, I think the types of
This
rest
is
are
a good one.
important because I don't think
Yeah.
we have a blueprint or understanding of like how to do that.
Yeah.
Because nobody taught us about
Yeah.
rest. It
And
only
I
taught
think it
us work.
also expands, right? Because maybe, like we said, there's this concept of like do. But if we understand like there's different levels and types of rest, maybe you can tap into some of these that feel more comfortable.
So for the different types of rest, this is
Yeah.
coming from Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith. She's a board certified like internal medicine physician, and
Mm-hmm.
she has identified some of the rest. So the first one is physical. Then we have mental rest.
Mm-hmm.
We have sensory rest. We have creative rest.
Mm-hmm.
There is emotional rest. There is social rest.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is spiritual rest. So we could
Mm-hmm.
talk about these. Like, which one of these are the ones that you identify with the most, you think?
Me?
Mhm.
Um, I think that between mental rest
Mhm.
and creative rest, and creative is not taking a rest from being creative. I
Mhm.
think it's taking a rest from producing
Mhm.
productivity, right? Whereas you are taking in the arts for the joy,
Mhm.
not for the badge,
To
the
produce.
joy for the replenishment, for
Mhm.
the moment that it allows you versus for the check of it, just truly for the enjoyment of it. It is painting for the joy. And I give myself a hard time. And it doesn't mean for me that I'm actually good at this stuff, but these are the things that I give myself the pressure of. I didn't do enough. I didn't work hard enough. I didn't write enough emails. I didn't read enough with the kids. I feel like I have this level of like being productive,
Mhm.
and it's not physical, right? Because I will take a nap. Okay. I will not shovel. Okay. But I don't feel the need to. But I
Mhm.
do feel the need to think and plan about all the shoveling that's going to happen. Where are we going to,
Mhm.
if I do take a nap, like, okay, what am I not doing? What are the kids missing out on? Da 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 da. And then to me, that's very much connected to the mental. The
Mhm.
mental the mental load on mothers. For me, it's like this thing cracked open once I had kids. I have three boys,
Mhm.
ages 1.5, 5, and 6. I think the amount of mental gymnastics, worrying, thinking, planning ahead. Is this right? Can I do this? Da 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 da. That's one. But time. Did I sign them up for this? Did I sign them up for that? Is this like, did I do this? And in the town that I live in, girl, when they have an opening of something and like registration open, you bet it's like buying Beyonce tickets. You got to have 3 screens, sign in at 5. It opens at 5. You cannot be there at 5:01. Get it or you
Wow.
going to miss it. And then here come Johnny, like camp. You know, like camp is this big thing. And I went to like a mom's chat and some mom was like, oh, I haven't signed my son up for camp yet. And I'm like, girl, you gonna have Johnny in like kitchen soup camp, you know what I mean? Because he ain't gonna have none of the good camps closed. They full. You know what I mean? And I got 3 kids who I got to think about their interests and their da-da-da-da. So like, I
Wow.
am like,
So that's a hard one for you to get.
that's a hard one for me to get and not feel guilty by taking a break from it. But I have decided that I can only put the elder ones, because the baby's not doing too much, like 2 things, like one sport, and then again, like something more like for
Creative?
their like creative mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the ones that like I immediately have. So I'm gonna shoot it back at you. What about you? Which kind of rest are you most
So
gravitates to
I'll
you?
let you know the ones I will prioritize and the ones I have issues with.
Mm-hmm.
So prioritize physical rest. I like massages. I like repair. I like to relax, relate, release. I do all of that. I'm with it, right? So I prioritize that. Social rest. I might do the social rest where I am not the most outgoing person. I do spend a lot of time like not being social outside of New York. In New York, I was very much more of a social person like pre COVID. Like it allowed me to take a lot of social rest. Like COVID was the biggest social rest ever because you didn't have to be all up in people's grill all the time. So social rest is something I think I do now naturally. Those are the 2 I would prioritize. Um, Emotional rest is like a half and half. I think I try to let myself feel what I want to feel without the judgment of it. I think I take assessment to myself, if that makes sense. And I try to assess what I'm feeling so I don't blow up on people. So like I'm like, well, that's not fair. Yeah, that kind of pissed me off. Or like, am I mad about this? Like I would be like, how mad am I? I would talk to myself and try to like relate the different things. And like I kind of do. Sensory, no, I'm always have lights in my face. Televisions are always on. And I give myself no rest from that. Um, uh, Mental, I always feel like I have to make decisions all the time. But that's why that one is kind of hard. And then creative rest.
Are
I
you
watch a
exhausted by it though? I feel like we have to do them. That's the question. But are you exhausted by it, or is it something that you're just kind of like, this is cool? It's part of it.
mental. I don't get the mental rest. Sometimes I get exhausted to the point like because you're doing, especially now because we're making pivots and trying to figure out like how to make money because industries are changing, jobs are going away. I am constantly thinking about the next move. So as of right now, I don't get the mental rest. My thought is how to get income, how to pivot, how to take care of the baby, how to make this dollar stretch, how to do I sell my house? Like what's the next move? And that makes me a little anxious because I don't want to make the wrong decision.
I think it's what I notice though is when you move into a moment, and this is the privilege, I suppose, I like.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is like a moment of this too shall pass for you, and you'll have the opportunity to have some of that, and get your refresh.
I think that this is temporary.
Yes.
But I will, you know, if I was younger, I would be like, yeah, this, it'll be fine because I knew like certain doors would open. I think that doors will open. I just think that there are different types of doors.
So I know that traveling is your thing, and I can't wait for you to have more of it. I want to talk a little bit about the soft life and how following debate between selfish and selfless. The selfless, just thinking about people like doing great for them and then like not caring about how it impacts you. selfishness, is it really negative all the time? Like, so I feel like it opened up a can of worms for me. So the definitions per what I see here is that selfishness lacks consideration for others, focuses on me, mine, may involve manipulation, and can produce greed or loneliness. Selflessness prioritizes others, involves generosity without extent.
I know what the definition is, but I think it's very now where people choose themselves. And they choose themselves because the alternative would still be bad for them. So they're being selfish for themselves. This versus selfless. If we bring it back, Frankie should have been more. I can't even say that. Because I would say she should be selfish and think about herself, but I think she does. She goes back to the toxic because she's thinking about just herself in that case. It's a weird thing, but she should be self-ish and choose herself over the toxic relationship
Yes.
and her
And
kids.
be selfless by choosing herself to think about what's best for her kids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's again, I love that. I think that's a great way to bring it back around.
Yeah.
You want to do some of the
Yeah, let's do, because
rapid fire?
we got some rapid fire coming up.
Saying selfish is choose yourself and selfless is choosing the benefit for other.
For other people. Yeah.
I like it. You start because I feel like you are a partner in a business and you leave this long-term partnership because you're drained. Are you selfish or selfless by choosing by exiting the partnership for those reasons?
Selfish. You are
Selfish
selfish
meaning,
in a good
yeah.
way by choosing yourself.
Yes.
By choosing.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you do have to be selfish. I don't know
Okay.
how to do that. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I have to think more about that. Of play times that I'd love to think back, and maybe we'll talk about this or we'll put some in the comments, right? What's a
Yeah.
time that you could have or should have been selfish and you weren't? Your turn.
All right. You stop over explaining your boundaries and you just hold them. Let's say it's your job, and instead of explaining your boundaries, you just make sure that they know them.
I think that's a hard one. Obviously, I'll say you obviously chose yourself, so it was a selfish in the sense of how we're defining it. However, I think that you're doing people a service by telling them what your boundaries are, right? I think it's an important thing, and I want to look at it as a selfless act because it might be annoying, but I do think that you're helping yourself by helping them know what your limitations are. I'm not accepting calls after 8 anymore, right? So it's annoying for me to keep telling you that, but I need you to know it so that you know that you're crossing a boundary. If you don't know it, then I think it's it's a little bit like my fault. But I think that could be debated as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah, it's yours.
This one I want to talk about, and I have thoughts.
Okay.
You say no to a family obligation for self-care. Selfish, selfless.
It's selfish, right?
Yeah.
Right? And I think this one might be the both sides selfish,
Yeah.
because I feel like I've done it. I've done the same thing. I have done.
Uh,
I may have like said it probably like a long time ago where I'm like, do I really want to drive that far? Because I need the social rest part, because you had to be like on, but it depends on the degree. If it's a wedding, no. Like a dinner, maybe.
I think that
Like I wouldn't show that. I would funerals. I'm going.
I feel like no, it's a girl to each his own. Your life, your people. For me, I'm like any. I'm hardcore about showing up for my family.
Mm-hmm.
Like I will not like it won't ever be for self-care. That's
Mm.
what I mean. So like not that I won't come or I can't schedule, like I could be double booked and I already promised somebody something else and I'll say I can't come. But I have never and I will try my best not to. I don't want to. That's how about that? I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to ever not show up because of a self-care, self something like thing.
It
I
depends on,
won't.
yeah. Well, it depends on if I'm able to. So
Yeah.
self-care as
But that's
in
not
I need
that
the
has
social
nothing to
rest.
do with your that I don't think that has anything to do with if you're not able, that you're not able.
Yeah.
Are
Well,
you
that's
not going because you wanted a massage?
no, who said self-care was a massage?
What's self-care?
It
I'm
depends
not
on what.
saying that's only, but I'm just saying I think
Oh.
self-care is like what are you doing? It's not I
Oh,
couldn't
I
go
was
because I needed to
okay.
chill.
I looked at that differently.
So
I
how
didn't
did you
look at
see
it.
it?
I didn't look at it as like I needed a massage. I looked at it as I couldn't do it. Like I needed to not go.
Well, that's what it says. You
Uh,
go to a family obligation for self-care.
if
You
I
can't do
like
it, you
I said,
can't do
I
it.
show up, but for to me self-care means I need to take care of myself. It didn't mean massage to me. It means I
Mhm.
needed to take care of myself.
Yes. I think and that's okay. I think
Yeah,
that
I
that
didn't,
is okay.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah.
But let me do one last one and we done. Let's get out of here. Um,
Ooh.
you said no to a work opportunity that
Oh,
would
hey.
have validated you or would have validated you and led to a promotion that would have
Take you from
um
your family, I think you had said.
taken you away from peace and family. Mm,
To the job, I would be selfish
mhm,
because I want to in this age for my kids, I don't need more money if it's
mm,
going to become at the detriment of more time. Time to me right now is more valuable. I have little kids. So I would
mm,
be selfish in the sense of, I don't know, I guess it's like if that's what's considered valuable. If money is valuable, then I'm going to be selfless and be okay having less money. Do you see what I'm saying? I think it's the perspective. I would choose not this job. So the answer is no either way. Do I consider it selfish or selfless? I think it depends on how I'm looking at it.
yeah. Okay. I think we're good. We have hit, you know, some of the nails on the head. I think that, we want to pursue soft life. I think at the end of the day that pursuing a soft life is not a detriment to you. I don't think it's either or. I think that you
Mhm,
could have them both. You can be a strong Black woman and
mhm,
still pursue a soft life because I feel like you need both. You need to be able to be replenished versus infinite depletion, which I
mhm.
think the trope conveys. You go beyond your boundaries, you're not paying attention to your needs.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
ladies, if you're a strong Black woman who wants a soft life or a strong Black woman who's just a strong Black woman, listen, do you, Buki. If you want a
Yeah,
soft life and just doing a soft life, do you too. Because we
right.
are not a monolith and we could have what we want.
It's a yeah, I think what we're saying, give yourself the permission to feel all the feelings
Yes.
and allow yourself to get rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If
The end.
anything,
For
I
sure.
think we become better whole people that
Yeah, but
feel
you can't
all the ranges. of
You ain't gonna
things.
convince my grandma that though. She like, you
So
ain't
sometimes you just
sitting
can't
your
do
ass.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. So we have a listener question.
Are there any moments that you can look back now and wish you were more selfish in trying to achieve this strong Black woman? Is there any moments where you feel like you're still torn? Or if you disagree with anything we've said? I want to hear all of it.
Holler at us.
Please. Pull
Holler at us.
up.
Tell us everything. We want to hear it. We want to hear the stories. All right, guys. So the group chat is coming to a close for the day. So if this conversation hit home for you, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who you think would have something to say in this chat. And don't forget to come back next week for another conversation.
Pull up.
Pull up.
Let's chat.
This is the Chit Chat Podcast. We will see you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.